The Travels of Marco Polo. Chapter 4. How the two brothers again departed from Venice on their way back to the Great Khan and took with them Marco, son of Messer Niccolo. In the meantime, the election of a pope was delayed by so many obstacles that they remained 2 years in Venice, continually expecting it to take place. At length, becoming fearful that the Great Khan might be displeased at their delay or might suppose they did not intend to revisit his country, they judged it wise to return to Acre, and on this occasion they took with them young Marco Polo. With the permission of the legate, they made a visit to Jerusalem, and there provided themselves with some of the oil from the lamp of the Holy Sepulchre, as the Great Khan requested. As soon as they were finished with letters from the legate to the Khan testifying their efforts to carry out his commission, and explaining that the Pope of the Christian Church had not yet been chosen, they proceeded to the before-mentioned port of Laias. Scarcely had they left, however, when the legate received messages from Italy, dispatched by the College of Cardinals, announcing his own elevation on September 1st, 1271, to the papal chair. He thereupon assumed the name of Gregory X. Believing that he was now in position to satisfy the wishes of the Tartar sovereign, he hastened to send letters to the King of Armenia telling him of his election and requesting, in case the two ambassadors on their way to the Great Khan had not already quit his dominions, that he would give directions for their immediate return. Those letters found them still in Armenia, and they promptly obeyed the summons to come once more to Acre. For this purpose, the king furnished them with an armed galley, sending at the same time an ambassador with his congratulations to the pontiff. Upon their arrival, His Holiness received them with honor and immediately dispatched them with papal letters and with 2 friars of the order of preachers, learned men as well as profound theologians. One of them was named Friar Nicholas of Vicenza, and the other Friar William of Tripoli. To them he gave authority to ordain priests, consecrate bishops, and grant absolution as fully as he could in his own person. He also entrusted them with valuable presents, including several handsome vases of crystal, to be delivered to the Great Khan in his name, and along with his benediction. Having taken leave, they again steered their course to the port of Laias, where they landed, and from there proceeded into the country of Armenia. Here they received news that the Sultan of Babylonia, that is, Babylon of Egypt, an old name for Cairo, named Bundakdari, had invaded the Armenian territory with a large army and had overrun and laid waste much of the country. Terrified at these accounts, the 2 friars determined not to proceed further, and turning over to the Venetians the letters and presents entrusted to them by the Pope, they placed themselves under the protection of the Master of the Temple, Knights Templars, and with him returned directly to the coast. Niccolo, Maffeo, and Marco, however, undismayed by perils or difficulties to which they had long been inured, crossed the borders of Armenia and continued on their journey. After crossing deserts of several days' march and many dangerous passes, they progressed so far in a direction between northeast and north that at length they had word of the Great Khan, who then had his residence in large and magnificent city named Kem, Enfu, Shangtu, Chandu, or Zandu, north of Peiping. It became Kublai's summer capital. Their whole journey to this place occupied no less than 3 years and a half, 1271 to 1275. During the winter months, they had, of course, made little progress. The Great Khan had been notified of their approach while they were still far off, and being aware of how much they must have suffered from fatigue, sent men to meet them a distance of 40 days' journey, and gave orders to prepare in every place throughout which they were to pass whatever might be needed for their comfort. By these means, and through the blessing of God, they were conveyed in safety to the royal court. Chapter 5. How the brothers and Marco presented themselves before the Great Khan. Upon their arrival, they were honorably and graciously received by the Great Khan in a full assembly of his principal officers. When they drew near him, they paid their respects by prostrating themselves. He immediately commanded them to rise and give him an account of their travels, with all that had taken place in their negotiations with His Holiness the Pope. To their story, which was clear and well told, he listened with attentive silence. The letters and the presents from Pope Gregory were then laid before him, and upon hearing the former read, he commended the fidelity, zeal, and diligence of his emissaries. And receiving with due reverence the oil from the Holy Sepulchre, he gave directions that it should be preserved zealously. Upon his observing Marco Polo and inquiring who he was, Niccolo answered, "This is my son and your servant." Upon which the Great Khan replied, "He is welcome, and it pleases me much." And he caused him to be enrolled amongst his attendants of honor. And in recognition of their return, he ordered a great feast and rejoicing. And as long as the brothers and Marco remained in the court of the Great Khan, they were honored even above his own courtiers. Marco was held in high esteem and respect by all belonging to the court. He soon learned and adopted the manners of the Tartars, and acquired a proficiency in 4 different languages, which he became qualified to read and write. Finding him thus accomplished, his master was desirous of putting to use his talents for business, and sent him on an important mission of state to a city named Karajan, or Karazan in Yunnan, a province of southwest China. situated at a distance of 6 months' journey from the imperial residence. On this occasion, he conducted himself with so much wisdom and prudence in the affairs entrusted to him that his services became highly acceptable. On his part, perceiving that the Great Khan took pleasure in hearing accounts of whatever was new to him respecting the customs and manners of people and the peculiar circumstances of distant countries, he tried wherever he went to obtain information on these subjects and made notes of all he saw and heard in order to gratify the curiosity of his master. In short, during the 17 years that he continued in his service, he made himself so useful that he was employed on confidential missions to every part of the empire and its dependencies, and sometimes he also traveled on his own account, but always with the consent and sanction of the Great Khan. Thus it was that Marco Polo had the opportunity of acquiring a knowledge, either by his own observation, or what he collected from others, of so many things, until his time unknown, respecting the eastern parts of the world, which he diligently committed to writing, as will appear later. And by this means he obtained so much honor that he aroused the jealousy of the other officers of the court.